All right, let's talk about one of the most critical, high-stakes procedures in the entire corporate world, modernizing a company's computer network. Now, you got to stop thinking of this as just another IT project. It's more like performing open-heart surgery on the digital core of an entire business. It is incredibly complex, it's definitely risky, but as we're about to see, it's often absolutely necessary for survival. So let's dive right in.
So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll get into why this change is so urgent, the ticking clock. Then we'll look at the core challenge, the big strategic choice you have to make. After that, we'll lay out a modern, three-part blueprint for success and walk through the 5 stages of actually getting it done. And maybe most importantly, we'll talk about the digital twin, the ultimate safety net, before we look at the awesome future-proof network you get at the end of all this.
Okay, so first things first, why on earth would a company put itself through such a massive operation? Well, the simple answer is, for a lot of these older legacy systems, time's up.
And you really have to think about that for a second. What happens when the very foundation that your entire company runs on becomes brittle, slow, and, frankly, insecure? At that point, it's not a support system anymore, is it? It's a liability. Every single transaction, every customer interaction, every piece of data, it all depends on that backbone. If it starts to crumble, everything else goes with it.
You know, this open-heart surgery analogy, it is spot on. The network is what pumps data, the absolute lifeblood of any modern company, to every single department, every employee, every customer. The procedure is incredibly delicate, and it demands precision. But just ignoring the problem? That's not an option if you actually want your business to survive, let alone grow.
And this really breaks down all the pressures that are forcing this kind of change. And what's so interesting is how it's all connected, right? It's not just that your hardware is getting old and might fail. It's that the old hardware has security holes, which costs a fortune to try and patch. And at the same time, trying to manage all these unique, one-off snowflake configurations is a nightmare, and it's expensive, all while you're stuck paying whatever your single proprietary vendor wants to charge you. It becomes this vicious cycle of risk and cost that just holds the entire business hostage.
Okay, so once you understand why you have to do this, that naturally leads to the big question of how. And right at the start of any migration, there's this one fundamental choice that pretty much dictates how the whole project is going to go.
So this lays out the 2 main roads you can go down. On the left, you've got the per-device approach. Think of this like changing the tires on a car while it's still driving. You swap out old pieces of gear with new ones right inside the existing network. It can work, but boy, you're rolling the dice on compatibility issues between the old stuff and the new stuff. But then, on the right, you have the per-design migration. This is totally different. You build a brand new, state-of-the-art network right next to the old one, a greenfield approach, and then you carefully move your services over. Sure, it's a bigger lift up front, but it lets you build things the right way from the very beginning, with a modern architecture and automation baked right in.
So, let's say you make this smart choice and go with that modern per-design path. What's the guiding philosophy? Well, it really boils down to this really elegant 3-part strategy.
Step 1, simplify. The absolute enemy of a good network is complexity. The goal here is to get rid of that crazy patchwork of different systems you've collected over the years. Just imagine having one single, consistent operating system running across your entire network, from the data center all the way out to your branch offices. One way of engineering things, and one platform to see and manage the whole shebang. It's all about eliminating complexity, because that's where the mistakes happen.
Part 2 is to virtualize. Now, this is all about freedom. It's about using open, industry-standard technologies, so you're not trapped by one vendor's special proprietary way of doing things. You use things like EVPN and VXLAN. Think of them like a universal language for networks. They let equipment from all different vendors talk to each other perfectly. This gives you incredible flexibility, lets you connect everything securely, and most importantly, it means you're not locked in. You can pick the best tool for the job every time.
And finally, part 3, automate. This is the real game changer. This is a fundamental shift in how you think about your network. You stop manually typing commands into devices and just reacting to problems. Instead, you start treating your network like software. Its infrastructure as code. You define it, you test it, you deploy it automatically. And that's how you get the kind of speed and agility that, until now, you could only dream of or get from a big cloud provider.
I love this quote because it just nails it. Your job isn't to configure a network anymore. Your job is to build the automation factory that builds, validates, and runs the network for you. It's a completely different mindset, and it's incredibly powerful.
Okay, so we've got the philosophy, the blueprint. Now let's get into the nuts and bolts. How do you actually pull off this massive project without causing a disaster? You need a solid game plan.
And here it is, a 5-stage plan built around safety. You start with discovery. You have to know exactly what the old network looks like before you can even think about changing it. Then, you convert all those old, messy configurations into the clean, new, automated design. Step 3, you automate the documentation, creating the playbooks so everyone knows exactly what's going to happen. Then comes the main event, execution, where you carefully move services over with minimal disruption. And woven through all of this, before and after every single move, is validation. You are constantly checking and double-checking that everything is working perfectly.
Which brings us to what is, hands down, the ultimate safety net in this whole high-stakes operation. How can you be absolutely sure everything will work before you touch the live network? Simple. You build an identical copy.
And this is the magic of the digital twin. It is a fully functional, software-based replica of your entire network. It's the perfect virtual sandbox. It lets your team practice the entire surgery again and again. They can test every single line of code, run through all the migration steps, and see exactly what's going to happen, all without risking a single millisecond of downtime on the network that's running your business. It's amazing.
So why is this so huge? Well, first, you eliminate errors. Any mistake, any typo, any bad idea, it happens in the twin, where it doesn't matter. This lets you refine your process over and over until it's absolutely perfect. And what that gives your team is incredible confidence. They're not going in hoping it works, they're going in knowing it works. And ultimately, this is what enables true automation, because you can build a system that automatically tests every change against the twin before it's ever deployed. It de-risks everything.
So, you've done all the planning, all the testing. The execution was flawless. What's the payoff? What does this new reality actually look like on the other side?
The result is a total transformation. You've taken what was probably a brittle, expensive, and scary liability, and you've turned it into a massive strategic asset. You now have the agility and speed of the cloud, but on your own infrastructure. You have modern ironclad security. And because you've simplified and automated everything, your day-to-day costs of just keeping the lights on can drop through the floor. But honestly, this is the real prize. It's bigger than just new hardware. You've built a foundation for a completely new way of working, a modern operating model. One where the network is largely managed by intelligent software, not by armies of people typing commands. This frees up your best and brightest people to focus on innovation, on what's next, instead of just playing defense all day.
So, it all comes down to this. In today's world, technology is everything, and your network is no longer just the plumbing in the walls. It is either the boat anchor holding you back, or it is the engine propelling you forward. So the question you really have to ask yourself is, which one is it for you? Is your network a hidden liability, just waiting to cause a problem, or is it your greatest strategic asset?